Hey y'all, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft. How about some Vicky Boutin? So I have this page kit and I have all sorts of different Vicky Boutin plus some Tim Holtz ephemera and some 49 and Market rub-ons and some scrap papers. So I really liked this as a base page and to take advantage of those florals on there. The pictures are of my daughter at the butterfly museum. I think my parents took her there when she was little. So I have these couple of pictures, and they do nestle in nicely among those florals, but then it's difficult for me to figure out where I would put a title. So I'm gonna just single mat the photos. I'm also going to trim these mats down just a little bit. They're a little bit large for the look I'm going for. And then I have a couple of border strips that I'm going to put on the other side. And I think that it will work better if I take the photos over to this side. In fact, I think I end up flipping them. And then I have room for the title, and I'm going to use the Vicky Boutin title, The Small Things. And I think that that will work out perfectly. Just trimming these down so that, and I'm not going to put them on there square. And when you're doing that, sometimes you get some really big borders, so trimming the paper down was helpful. I decided to use the walnut ink for the edges. I thought about doing black since there is some black in the florals, but I think the brown was a little bit more the look I wanted to go for this. So just creating that little border there and inking the papers. So you can see I'm putting them not quite square on there. And I think at some point I end up flipping these. There we go. And that's because it was easier to cover up a little bit on the bottom of the photo with the butterflies. And now I'm going to do some rub-ons. I'm not very proficient at rub-ons, but I figured that the 49 and Market ones are probably pretty awesome. And I decided there's already a little bit of distressing on here, and I might be able to add some to this. So these are actually sort of definitions, but very distressed looking. So I'm just trying to pick but I still want the words to be appropriate. And then I'm going to cut some other little bits out and add a few other bits, just to add a little distressing. And this is a good test item to see if this wooden stick is working properly. And I really like that. On the back side of this, and I hadn't realized it, were words in, I think in black, in different size. Some of the same words, but in script in different fonts. So that's pretty cool. All right. And y'all, this page came together so fast, I think less than 45 minutes from start to finish, which is pretty rare for me. I was really pleased. So I am just trying to create a little bit of a triangle with these, even though only 2 of them have words on there. I'm just double checking to see if there's something else. I'm just going to take another little bit out. And then I think I'm ready for a title, and then we will embellish after the title. And those are the back side of that. I hadn't realized there were 2 sheets in there. And I ended up not using that journaling box sticker because it had a bright red flower on it, and it just didn't fit on the page. I could have used it maybe and covered that up with one of these Vicky Boutin florals. So these butterflies are from Tim Holtz. I've had them for a couple years, so I was pleased to have a layout where I could use quite a few of them. So I'm just playing around with some of the florals that I had fussy cut. And I think that was an advert on an advertisement that came for Vicky Boutin's first 49 and Market collection. And I fussy cut everything I could off of that little piece of paper because I loved it. And just playing around with placement for these things. Now, the butterflies are a little glossy, and then, of course, the Vicky Boutin, the 49 and Market stuff is not glossy, but I'm okay with it. It means that the butterflies stand out a little bit more because they're glossy, and I'm okay with that. So I'm putting some dimensional adhesive under the tips of the wings on these butterflies, and then that just helps give them dimension. And I do end up moving that butterfly over a bit. Oh, I thought I did the... So now we're ready for the title. And I am just kind of winging it. And then I have this little snail on the Vicky Boutin, and I wasn't sure where to put it, so I go ahead and I'm going to put it on top of the title there. And I had pulled out some leaves that I thought I would add on this, and then I ended up those leaf chipboard stickers, I ended up not using them. But there were a few other things that I pulled off of this chipboard that I added just to add a few layers. And then there are quite a few little round dots that will make it onto the page as well. And I'm using those really instead of enamel dots. I'm not doing them in sets of 3, but I am putting them with the embellishment clusters. And I realize I could journal just on the paper, but I feel like I want another layer. So I'm looking at these tags to see if anything will work. I wanted another layer up at the top and maybe a layer at the bottom for journaling. So I find this one, and it's got some of the similar colors, but with words, some of the same distressing as on the paper. So it's a pretty good match. And I think these are from two different collections, so I'm not, oh, maybe they're from the same collection. So I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom. I'm not lining them up, but I'm happier with that. And I'm going to add some gold spritz. I'm still just thinking through where I want some of these things. And I go searching for some little small puffy stickers, and I don't find them. Spoiler alert. They're in there somewhere. I didn't feel like pulling out all of my enamel dots to find it. And there were only a couple of things left on that. It was from Print Shop, and I've used a lot of it. So, and now I'm gonna just add some gold spritz on here. All right, so I think that's all of the spritz that I need. And let's take a look at some close-ups. I am going to move that one little butterfly though, so you can see some of the embellishment clusters and the title. Please give this video a thumbs up and come on back to My Space to Craft for more fun. I've got a couple more page kits to do, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, you guys.